yesterday we ventured out to Santa Paula and drove around, and it was definitely strange. It was totally strange. It's not exactly how I remember it, and it was really hard. Like, Sarah and I, it took us like 15-20 minutes to re-find the street that we lived on because we couldn't remember the name of it or the exit you get off of. Like, I went straight to where my mom's old house was. Like, I remembered that very vividly and very clear, but I couldn't remember for the life of me where I lived, which was kind of interesting because I lived there for like a year. But I lived there when the car crash happened back in 2001. And so I was bedridden most of the time I was there. So it's just kind of interesting how, like, it took us a while to find it. Once I found it, it all came back to me. But it was so funny how Sarah couldn't even remember, and Sarah lived there. So she was the one that did most of the driving in and out and was all over town. And she couldn't even remember, and it's almost like we kind of blocked that out. And it seems so foreign driving up to the apartment complex where the condos were and like checking it out. It seemed so strange and very, very surreal, almost unreal. And then like we pulled up inside the driveway where the garage was, and like you have like flashes of memory, but it was definitely very strange. But we videotaped us telling some of the stories of some of the places, so have a look, see what you think.
Yes.
So this is the house that Sarah and I lived in. This is where the RedAnt really, truly, honestly began, because this is where the first outfits were made. 13A was actually my garage right here, and so you'll see in the newspaper articles and first early photo shoots all took place in that garage, oddly enough. And then this is where it all began. I lived right down here.
Yeah, you turned in here, right?
Yeah, you turned in this little walkway right here, and that blue door that you see right next to the staircase, that was my door. That was my apartment. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. Donovan and I lived there, and then after the accident, Sarah moved in with her daughter, and I started making clothing from my bed in my lap, and I would paint dresses, rip them apart, reconstruct them, set them on fire. The raven coat, the infamous raven coat that I believe Don from Oberon Leather now owns, it's a feathered hooded coat, floor length. It's all fishnet, rags, yarn, and feathers. It's beautiful. That particular coat was actually the first item that I ever made, and it was made here in my bed. And then from there it just kind of expanded. So all the early stuff happened here, and I didn't have the use of my legs, and so I literally did everything from bed. And then once I started to get more mobile, we actually figured out how to put the foot pedal on the side so that I could operate the sewing machine with the use of my knee. But all the early stuff, it all happened right here. This is where Donovan used to run around. This was his little hood, and he used to ride his bike around here, and he always had tree frogs in his pocket. We stored everything in the garage. The garage is where all the magic happened, as far as like we did photo shoots out there. We videotaped. That was where all the merchandise got stored. This is it. This is the location. This is where it all went down.